Well, Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett is speaking to CBS News in her first TV interview since joining the court. She spoke exclusively with senior correspondent Norah O'Donnell on a wide range of issues, including the independence of the court from politics. It's something she writes about in her new book, Listening to the Law: Reflections on the Court and Constitution. Here's part of their conversation for CBS Sunday Morning.
President Donald Trump appointed you to cement a conservative legal revolution. Are you concerned about the narrative of this court that it is no longer a separate and co-equal branch of government as designed by the Constitution?
I disagree with that conception of the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court is an independent branch of government. And presidents appoint justices, and presidents have whatever their own motivations are for appointing justices. But once justices serve on the court, the whole point of life tenure and salary protection, which is guaranteed to federal judges by the Constitution, is to ensure their independence from both the executive branch and from Congress.
But does the reputation of the Supreme Court matter to you?
I want people to have trust in the court, and that's why I wrote this book. Frankly, I wanted people to understand how the court works. I wanted them to understand how we get our cases and how we go about making our decisions, because the court belongs to every American. And I want Americans to feel like they have a stake in the court and they understand what the court does. Because what the court does is not the same kind of work that Congress does, and it's not the same kind of work that the president does. Those are the political branches. The court is not one of the political branches.
And CBS News senior correspondent Norah O'Donnell joins us now with more on this. Norah, good morning. This was a fascinating interview, and it's so rare we get to hear from a Supreme Court justice like this. What else did Justice Barrett have to say?
Yes, well, there's more we are going to share with you later this week, and that's because Justice Amy Coney Barrett, according to legal observers, has been described as the most influential justice on the Supreme Court right now. Appointed by President Trump in 2020, she has lately shown an independent streak. And of course, she is known for replacing Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and helping to overturn Roe versus Wade. But why this all matters is that there has now been a growing number of cases that have been challenging President Trump's extraordinary use of executive power, like when it comes to tariffs or birthright citizenships. Those are all coming before the Supreme Court. And so how Justice Barrett, a member of the conservative majority, may vote and has voted in the past, has become of heightened scrutiny. And so in this extended conversation that we had with her, we really talked to her not only about her judicial philosophy, but also how these justices decide cases. And as you heard in that part of the interview that we just played, to answer the questions about this narrative that may be developing, that this conservative majority on the court is giving deference to President Trump, which she rejects wholeheartedly. She says, of course, that's not true. The three branches of government, the legislative, Congress, and the Senate, that's political, right? The executive, that's political, but not the judiciary, she says. And so she's really trying to explain how they open up and look at these cases, in her words, in an independent way, and also to restore trust to the Supreme Court. And then, of course, as you know, the Supreme Court shrouded in so much mystery. And so we also just talked personally about her relationship with some of the other justices, and about her family and some of the security concerns that have become an issue not only for her, but other justices on the case, because there have been an increased number of death threats and more.
All right, very compelling stuff. Norah, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And you can watch more of Norah O'Donnell's eye-opening interview with Amy Coney Barrett on CBS Sunday Morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on CBS, or at 11 a.m. Eastern on CBS News 24/7.